March 5, 2026. A drone strikes an airport in Azerbaijan. Within hours, accusations begin crossing borders. Azerbaijan says the drones came from Iran. Iran denies responsibility and calls the attack a false flag operation. Others suggest Israel may be involved. 3 possible culprits, 1 dangerous mystery, and if the wrong conclusion is reached, this single incident could trigger a much larger conflict in the region. The strike took place in Nakhchivan, a small territory belonging to Azerbaijan. But Nakhchivan is not connected to the rest of the country. Instead, it is separated from mainland Azerbaijan by Armenia. Iran borders it to the south. Turkey borders it to the west. This unusual geography makes Nakhchivan one of the most strategically sensitive areas in the Caucasus. On March 5, Azerbaijani officials reported that several drones struck an airport in the region. Soon after the incident, Azerbaijani authorities stated that 4 drones had crossed into their territory from Iran. Iran immediately rejected the accusation. Tehran insisted it had nothing to do with the strike. Instead, Iranian officials suggested the possibility of a staged operation designed to blame Iran. The timing of the incident made the situation even more tense. Just 1 day before the drone strike, Azerbaijan had accused Iran of plotting attacks on its territory. Following the strike, Iran's military issued a warning. It called on Azerbaijan to expel what it described as Zionist elements from its territory in order to maintain regional security. This statement immediately drew attention to Azerbaijan's relationship with Israel. One possible explanation is that Iran carried out the attack. By early 2026, tensions in the region had already escalated dramatically. The United States and Israel had launched strikes against Iranian targets. In this environment, Iranian leaders may have believed that a larger confrontation was coming. Some analysts suggest that Iran feared the airstrikes could eventually be followed by a ground operation. And if that happened, Azerbaijan could suddenly become strategically important. Azerbaijan maintains close relations with Israel. It is also one of Israel's major oil suppliers. From Iran's perspective, this relationship raises serious concerns. If Azerbaijan were to allow its territory to be used for operations against Iran, the country's northern border could quickly become a new front in the conflict. In that context, a drone strike on Nakhchivan could be interpreted as a warning. A message that Azerbaijan's infrastructure, including its vital oil facilities, lies within reach. A second possibility is far more controversial. Could Azerbaijan have staged the attack itself? At first glance, this seems unlikely. Azerbaijan's economy depends heavily on oil and gas exports. Nearly 90% of the country's income comes from the energy sector. Any escalation with Iran could place Azerbaijan's critical infrastructure at risk. Iran possesses the capability to strike oil facilities with missiles or drones, without even crossing the border. For this reason, many analysts believe Azerbaijan would have little incentive to provoke such a dangerous confrontation. The third possibility points toward Israel. If Israel was secretly responsible for the strike, the goal could be strategic. A conflict between Iran and Azerbaijan could force Iran to divert military resources toward its northern border. This could stretch Iranian defenses and potentially weaken its position elsewhere in the region. However, there is also a complication. Azerbaijan supplies a significant portion of Israel's oil. Any escalation that threatens Azerbaijan's energy infrastructure could disrupt that supply. This raises an important question. Would Israel risk such a move, knowing the potential consequences? At this point, the truth remains unclear. Iran denies involvement. Azerbaijan insists the drones came from Iranian territory. And speculation continues about the possible role of other actors. But in geopolitics, analysts often ask a different question when investigating mysterious events. Who benefits? Because the answer to that question sometimes reveals more than the initial accusations. If Iran carried out the strike, it could be sending a warning to its northern neighbor. If Azerbaijan staged the incident, it could be attempting to shift regional dynamics. And if Israel was involved, the attack might be part of a much larger strategic calculation. For now, the mystery remains unresolved. But one thing is certain. In a region already filled with tension, even a single drone strike can change the balance. And sometimes, the smallest incidents lead to the biggest consequences. So, what do you think really happened?
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.